Hi there, I'm Whitney, Registered Dietitian Nutritionist and Certified Personal Trainer. Welcome to my channel, Whitney E. RD. Here you'll find healthy original recipes, fun workout videos, and science-backed myth-busting on popular nutrition topics in my series, The Sitch. Today I want to tell you about my predominantly plant-based nutrition philosophy. It's centered on two seemingly contradictory premises. One, that a plant-based diet is the best way to prevent chronic disease and increase longevity. And two, that diets in general are bad for your health. How can one philosophy embrace two totally opposing principles? Let me explain. It began with a genetics course I took in Italy last summer where I learned about the interaction of genes, diet, and disease. I won't go in depth into the science right now, but I will tell you, the evidence supporting a plant-based diet for preventing disease and increasing longevity is overwhelming. It wasn't like I hadn't heard about the benefits of a plant-based diet before. This was just the first time I had ever heard the evidence presented in such a convincing, undeniable way. To sum it up, studies showed that vegans and vegetarians have a significantly reduced risk of cancer, coronary heart disease, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, and metabolic syndrome. Additionally, they have a greater life expectancy. One large study of vegetarians in California found that men and women lived 7.3 years and 4.4 years longer than their non-vegetarian counterparts. Studies of populations living in the blue zones, which are areas with the highest concentration of people living over 100 years old, show that their diets are rich in plants and low in animal products. In Okinawa, for example, the majority of the diet comes from sweet potatoes. Okinawa has the largest population of centenarians in the world and also an extremely low risk of hormone-dependent cancers, including breast, ovary, prostate, and colon cancer. Sweet potatoes make up about 60% of the traditional Okinawan diet, along with other vegetables like cabbage, bitter melon, and seaweed. Meanwhile, fish accounts for a mere 1% of the diet, and meat, less than 1%. After my first week in Italy, I was sold on the science and ready to jump on the plant-based bandwagon. There was just one problem. I really like ice cream, and I was in Italy. Was I seriously going to spend this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to immerse myself in Italian culture, avoiding foods like gelato, pesto, pizza, and fresh seafood? Not a chance. Though I didn't know it at the time, this was the birth of my predominantly plant-based philosophy. See, in addition to receiving an in-depth education on the many benefits of a plant-based diet, I've also spent a large majority of my dietetic experience working in a field that is wholeheartedly opposed to strict diets, eating disorder recovery. In doing so, I learned about a field of nutrition known as intuitive eating. Intuitive eating is a nutrition philosophy that rejects the traditional diet mentality of good and bad foods, calorie counting, and tracking nutrients. This is pretty much because diets don't work. Studies show that while traditional diets initially help people lose weight, only about a third of dieters are able to maintain a mere 5% weight loss, and less than 10% of people can maintain a weight loss of 15%. In fact, those that do regain the weight after a diet often gain back more than their starting weight due to metabolic adaptations that occur within the fat cells that slow metabolism and increase hunger. Instead of focusing on weight loss and obsessing over which foods to eat and which foods to avoid, intuitive eating trains people to ditch the food rules and reconnect to their body's internal hunger and fullness cues to drive eating behaviors and food choices. While an intuitive eating approach may not be as effective initially at promoting weight loss, studies show that this mindfulness-based way of eating prevents additional weight gain and helps to maintain long-term behavior change. In addition, intuitive eating approaches also combat disordered eating, which can develop from classic dieting. Which brings me back to the plants. When I learned about the benefits of a plant-based diet, I was faced with a conundrum. I knew strict diets are a bad idea, but I also knew that the research supporting a plant-based eating plan is ironclad. There had to be a way of eating that took into account both of these scientifically supported truths. That's how I came up with predominantly plant-based. Predominantly plant-based is a breakaway from the black and white thinking of traditional diets. It's an acknowledgement that true health is not all or nothing. Just like in all things in life, too much of anything is good for nothing. Take exercise. Good, right? But too much exercise can cause amenorrhea, reduced immunity, and injuries. eating plants. Good, right? Until you're breaking plans with friends, turning down exciting life experiences, or denying the body's signs of deficiency to hold steadfast to a rigid morality paradigm with food. Predominantly plant-based embraces the overwhelming evidence of the beneficial effects of a plant-based diet while discarding the unnecessary dogma attached to this way of eating. For example, if you're on a trip to Greece and you want to try the local goat cheese, you shouldn't feel like a bad person for enjoying a cultural delicacy. Similarly, if you're out to brunch with friends and you start craving that fried egg on top of your avocado toast, you should be able to enjoy it. And if the cake at your friend's birthday is calling your name, you should be able to have some without verifying that it's vegan. See, this is where the predominantly comes in. In this plant-based pattern of eating, you have flexibility, enjoyment, and the ability to partake in life's special food-centric moments. At the same time, you commit to a new mindset where plants become the star of your meals. At home, you stock your kitchen with fruits, veggies, nuts, seeds, beans, and whole grains. You experiment with new plant-based dishes, learning that you don't have to add chicken to everything to meet your protein needs. You throw out the old ideology that puts meat and animal protein at the center of the plate. And you broaden your horizons to try new cuisines and restaurants that adopt these same ideals. Predominantly plant-based also takes into account the individual differences in our makeup that may dictate our ability to eat certain foods, and guides us to simply do our best to eat in a way that is practical and sustainable. For example, some people can't eat nuts, wheat, beans, or soy for a variety of reasons, which would make it much harder for them to follow a 100% plant-based diet. For that person, supplementing with some animal products may be necessary to meet their nutritional needs, and that's okay. If eating a 100% plant-based diet works for you, though, that's awesome. There are many other less selfish reasons to eat fully plant-based that don't involve your health, including benefits to the environment and animal welfare. But if it doesn't work for you, that's okay too. And that's where my predominantly plant-based paradigm comes in. Being predominantly plant-based means eating as many plants as possible, as often as possible, and also giving yourself the permission to be a normal human being. Again, the beauty is it's not all or nothing. Studies show that every bit of plant-based eating adds benefit. While vegans do have a lower risk of many diseases compared to meat eaters, vegetarians do too, and so do pescatarians. Each little reduction in intake produces positive results. And that's my spiel. If you're ready to take control of your health, enjoy delicious food, and help animals and the environment, subscribe to my channel to learn more about living a predominantly plant-based lifestyle. And visit my blog for tons of easy, healthy recipes to get you started today. You'll also find a link over there to download my 7-day predominantly plant-based meal plan totally free. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a happy, healthy day.